The Buddha not only knew of meditation, he also practiced it daily and at length. So the third is when the young student is told to be like water, that is, to go along with the continual changing of the universe. Water is shapeless, flavorless, and is never in the wrong. Whatever it does, wherever it goes, it changes itself without really changing itself. It is the same water that is in a tsunami that is in a teapot. Jung says of the third, "In the third, the tension is resolved and the lost numberless unity is restored. Unity, the absolute one, cannot be numbered. It is indefinable and unknowable. Only when it appears as a unit, the number one, is it knowable. For the other, which is required for this act of knowing, is lacking in the condition of the one. Three is an unfolding of the one to a condition where it can be known. Unity becomes recognizable. Had it not been resolved into the polarity of the one and the other, it would have remained fixed in a condition devoid of every quality. Three therefore appears as a suitable synonym for a process of development in time, and thus forms a parallel to the self-revelation of the deity as the absolute one, unfolded into three. The relation of threeness to oneness can be expressed by an equilateral triangle, A equals B equals C. So here, the third is represented as the final release of tension. For example, in the drama between God and man. God is one and man is two, and it explains how an indefinable, unknowable one can communicate with you across the world of immaterial forms into the world of forms. So when you truly know what you should do, what the right thing is to do in any given situation, you kind of hear this voice in the back of your head. It can be known also as a gut feeling, or being described as what the heart wants. That's actually the idea of the Holy Spirit, which is represented by this number three. The release of tension, a force which transcends time and space, and which, if you listen closely, communicates with you every day. It connects each human on earth not just with each other, but with the one itself. Listening to it and then manifesting it into reality is the third, and in the Trinity represents the Holy Spirit. This is how one reveals his true self. Jung goes on, the Holy Spirit is in fact the third element that rounds out the three and restores the one. The point is that the unfolding of the one reaches its climax in the Holy Spirit, after polarizing itself as Father and Son. Its descent into a human body is sufficient in itself to make it become another, to set it in opposition to itself, as a being that existed before the world was. The Holy Spirit is eternal, but appears empirically in this world only when Christ had left the earthly stage. It will be for the disciples what Christ was for them. It will invest them with the power to do works greater, perhaps, than those of the Son. The Holy Spirit is a figure who deputizes for Christ and who corresponds to what Christ received from the Father. From the Father comes the Son, and common to both is the living activity of the Holy Spirit, who, according to Christian doctrine, is breathed forth by both. To end, Jung offers a quote from the Trinitarian Origen of Alexandria. I am of the opinion, then, that the God and the Father, who holds the universe together, is superior to every being that exists, for he imparts to each one from his own existence that which each one is. The Son, being less than the Father, is superior to rational creatures alone, for he is second to the Father. The Holy Spirit is still less, and dwells within the saints alone, so that in this way the power of the Father is greater than that of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and in turn the power of the Holy Spirit exceeds that of every other holy being.